Intermission. Here we
Yeah.
are. We're back. Yeah, my dog's calmed down. We were recording multiple episodes, so we took a little break. Meyer got a snack. I got my dog calmed down. Got some
Yeah,
water.
I know. I was being brave, not brave. I'm just kidding. I was doing really good, and that was fine. But when Trista's like, "Let's take a break," I'm like, "Perfect." You know what? I am going to eat me a little bit of a Nature Valley granola bar.
Yeah.
And I was like, I will also use the restroom. And so Blake's a saint. And now that Tressa and I have changed our cadence, and I love this, I think it's working out amazing.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. And I have like a dedicated time and a block. And like Blake was so he takes the kids or he does something with the kids, and it's just a couple hours, right? And so he was going to go, well, it's raining, so they couldn't do a park. Or whatever. So they went to my mom's, and when I texted him, I just was like, oh, I'll check in and see how they're doing. And this is the cool part of parenting, folks. All right. In a world of technology, in a world of kids, like hoping they become creative, he sent me a photo. My mom has a blue rug in her living room. Magnolia went and made paper fish, got a Swiffer pole, tied string, connected a magnet bag clip, and put paper clips on these paper fish and turned it into a fishing game for her and her brother.
That is so cute. I love it.
I love it too. I'm like, thank God. I thought, it's just like, please have an imagination, and she does. But it was just, I love it. So I'm like, great. This is the best thing that ever happened. I'm so glad y'all are there because Draco can play, but she went out of her way to figure out a game for them to do that doesn't involve a TV or a tablet.
I know.
I
was like, I'm so happy to hear that. There's not a video game or a movie or something on a screen. That's amazing.
Nope. Yeah. And he said my mom helped. Like she would cut the fish too. So they made it like this whole activity and like turned a blue rug into the ocean.
I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's super cute. And Draco likes fishing. We need to take him actually fishing. But he's getting old enough. But he likes it. He loves the idea of fish. He's just so boy.
Really?
I don't know. There's these boy things or there's boy stereotypes and boy kind of markers for the masculine energy. I can see it. You know what I mean? And then Magnolia, I can see her feminine energy, right? She loves pink and fluffy.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Very And then he likes pirates and sharks and fish and water. He loves the water and he likes guns and things. You know what I mean?
Really?
It just default, right? And then we bought him these styrofoam swords and shields. And so him and Nola will play. Then it turns into terrible sibling shit.
Yeah.
But they beat each other to death, right? But yeah, so then
they can't really hurt
swords.
each other, right? Yeah.
No, and
styrofoam. Yeah.
No, and he likes fire trucks and cars, and he flips over his 4-wheeler. He has a Spider-Man it's not even really a 4-wheeler, folks. It's just one of them Walmart battery shit. And he flips it over and he gets a wrench and he starts pretending to be a mechanic. Yeah, I've never shown him that. He just naturally. I'm telling you, it's wild. This is the part of parenting. I mentioned in another episode, these weird things that you just don't think about, but it's so fun and cool to see the brain develop and work. Nobody has shown him that. Nobody's taught him that. And then he flips over and starts working on a car.
I think it's cool to see their personalities and their authenticity start to come out, right?
Yeah.
What they're going to be interested in and who they are as an individual. That's pretty cool. I'm excited for you guys to take him fishing, see what he thinks of actually going fishing.
Yeah. Fishing, yeah.
In nature.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he would like it. Yeah, we're going to the beach and I don't know. My best friend is actually a wonderful fisherwoman. She's very, very talented. And I don't know, I have thought about it. I wonder if we could fish at the beach because I've done that before.
Have
just
you?
Set up a line. Yeah, in the sand and I thought about it. But I don't know. Blake wants to take him fishing in the streams. I don't know.
Yeah, a river fishing, not sea fish.
Sea fishing. Yeah. But Blake has he even has a fly rod. Blake has all the stuff too. He liked to fish a lot. Yeah. So if Draco really does get interested in it, he's got a person.
He's got a person.
He's got a person because it ain't me. I don't mind it, but I'm not going to teach you tomorrow. That ain't me. So nobody wants to learn my fishing skills because they don't exist.
Same.
Yeah, like it's not good.
I mean, I'll go and I enjoy it, but I need somebody there
to like help.
Do everything basically.
I
can cast.
Let me cast and reel in, baby. Because
other than that, I need a helper.
Yeah.
Well, are you ready to start our episode?
Let's get into it. Yep.
It was cool because the one that you guys will have before this is around money. I think this really does tie into that same type of conversation. It's something we've talked about before. I think we talk about it a lot. Frequency, vibration, energy is basically like coming from our cells, right? Mm-hmm. Like our DNA, everything about it is coming from our inside of us, right? Our DNA, our thoughts, and our frequency is what's telling something externally how to interact with us. Right? Like I always teach about the vibrational scale of consciousness, and you can't attract something that you are not a vibrational match to. But I was listening to Aaron Abke. He has a podcast and a website and stuff, and he spoke about it just slightly different, and it really hit me. He talked about it in the way that we're software, right? It's our internal software, and software can be changed, right? Code can be changed. We have codes within us, a software code, and whatever software code that we're running will be a reflection of what we're getting outside of us. Because Myra and I talk about this all the time. Everything has to come from within to be shifted, right? And I just wrote down a few things like form follows your frequency. Whatever's going to form within your world is a reflection of your frequency. And one of the other topics that we had talked about, and we've talked about potentially talking about today, and we've done episodes on this before, is that energy of that victim energy, right? And I see it still so prevalent. And people are like, in this, why is this happening to me? I am, why I don't deserve this, or why is, I hear this one a lot. Why would God punish me? Well, God wouldn't punish you. Your frequency, your code you're running internally is bringing that to you. And I think it's so hard for people to want to take accountability and to really be honest with themselves. It's kind of like what you were talking about in our last episode around where you spend your money. Money leaks, right? You have to be brutally honest or you can't change it.
Yeah.
You cannot change it if you can't be honest, And this is the same thing. People are just wanting to blame somebody else, wanting to have somebody else fix it. They don't want to look at what is the code, what is the software I'm running. And once you can identify that, then the code can be changed. Yeah. But until you identify it, you have no shot of changing it, right? So one of the things that he talked about in there is like asking, are these codes that I'm running helping me? Are they high vibration? Are they beneficial? And really asking about that. And then if they're not, you can identify what you need to start to work towards or on or be aware of. If they are, that's great, And so really asking, what are these codes and what are these patterns and how are they serving me? I thought that was really cool. And then you can start to make a shift. One of the things too is like using, you said something in an episode, and it's funny, I thought about it this morning, even going back to teaching people about muscle testing, kind of going back to the basics.
Yeah.
And I thought, everyone knows what muscle testing is, but maybe they don't, maybe they don't understand muscle testing. So muscle testing is getting yes or no. Like if you're asking about these programs, if you're asking about this software that you're currently running, maybe you're asking about the software that you're running around self-worth, So many of us try to say we love ourselves and we have self-worth, but is the program below that truly promoting that? Or is that just something that you believe you're supposed to say? Those are two different things. So asking that question, and then you can use your body, usually going forward as a yes, going back as a no, or pendulum, right? one of the things I've started to do even with my pendulum work is use my non-dominant hand. So I hold it with my left hand versus my right hand. Because when you do that, you're less likely to go into your brain, right? Like your non-dominant hand is more of your spiritual side. It's going to give you more authentic answers. I learned a long time ago when I worked with a spiritual coach. Some people call it automatic writing. You could ask a question, write out a question with your dominant hand, but you always want to answer with your non-dominant hand.
Okay.
Because and even as you draw cards, I always have my clients pick their card with the non-dominant hand. It's like that subconscious, that spiritual side versus that conscious 3D side.
Yeah.
So, as you start to approach these things, really using some muscle testing to trust it. And I wanted to just say this, like, our DNA isn't fixed. It's evolving. It's what we do with it, right? It can be fixed. You can stay in that victim energy in that cycle for quite a while, lifetimes, really. Or you can choose to say, I'm going to choose a different software program. I don't know why the idea of like the software idea hit me so much. I've talked about this in other ways and other concepts, but it seemed to make it easier. Like, because if you're a programmer and you want to change something, you just change a couple X's and O's. I don't know. I'm not a programmer, but you know what I mean?
Zeros and ones.
Zeros and ones. There you go. Thank you. Zeros and ones. You change a couple zeros and ones and bada bing, something new is produced. So it almost made the concept seem simpler, not as complex as what I felt like it could be before. To just go, you know what? I'm going to choose this other software. I'm going to choose this other programming, and I'm going to plug that into me.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's really about the awareness. And it goes back to the theory of epigenetics. There's the book, It Didn't Start With Me. That's why I talked about the DNA. Your genes are carrying things. And if you don't have awareness around it, or you don't dig into it, you don't have a chance of changing it.
Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to share was I did some ancestral work with a client yesterday. And I hadn't done it in a while. And it's where you go back 7 generations and you really understand the energy of the soul, not the persona, right? And you clear energy. Well, we got to, I can't recall which generation, 4th or 5th generation. And when I do this work, I help the client with what I'm feeling or seeing. And I kept seeing that this generation was heavily involved in slavery, like they owned slaves. They were very abusive to the slaves. They were very abusive to humans. I even saw the image of like torture. And it showed me them pulling toenails. What was crazy is my client goes, oh my God. There were days prior to him starting to do his own work on himself that he said, I couldn't, like by 4:00, my feet would be so sore I couldn't walk. Like my feet would kill me. And he said his right foot was the worst, which the right side is the ancestral side, right? As he's done work on himself to explore who he is and really find he's like, my feet don't hurt anymore. But that is the lineage that we connected, right? He was holding on to this epigenetics, this DNA. And so often, we would just, you go to the doctor and you'd get a diagnosis, or you wouldn't get a diagnosis and they would prescribe something. But everything in our body is telling us something. Every dis-ease is a sign. It's a signal. So that was really, really powerful when we got to that. And it's just a short story I really wanted to share. If he hadn't have started doing the work, who knows? But also now he can correlate that back. And like in the ancestral healing, we give that back to that generation. He doesn't need to pack that anymore in any way.
That's really cool.
So it was really, really, really cool. Yeah. So I'll stop now because I've been talking for 6
minutes. Oh, no,
minutes.
that was great. That was beautiful. Well, as you were talking, I have a couple thoughts. So I'm going to revisit back with like the divination and like using the pendulum, using muscle testing, using the body, pulling the cards. And, that's so interesting because I when I mentioned that in the episode, and I was using it again, and I was using my pendulum, and I was muscle testing the rituals that I was going to use on my body, or what I was going to do, or what I was going to use next, or whatever, I had totally forgot about this being an extension of a way to connect to my higher self. Like, I just forgot. Like, I forgot about, like, I don't know why. I think that sometimes we get so caught up in like new ideas and new techniques and this and that and this and that, and we forget the basics. Like, we forget to listen to our own body. And I like pendulum work a lot, and I like using your body if you sway back and forth, yes or no with the body. I obviously like pulling cards, as everyone knows. And it was so interesting when you're talking about that, because the way that I pull cards now, I hold the deck with my right hand, but I'm using my thumb of my left hand to pull the cards. And so whatever shoots out is being triggered by the left hand, because they jump. The cards will jump.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about that. I was like, how do I pull
are you right-handed or are you left-handed?
Yeah, I'm right-handed.
You're right-handed. Okay. That
so
makes
I
sense
hold
then.
the deck. Yeah. And then the thumb, this hand's guiding the cards that are coming out. So that was kind of interesting. I was like, because I was curious. I'm like, what am I doing? I was like, how am I doing this? But I flip the cards over with my left. If I'm using my left mostly. I don't use my right. I use my left. And then you flip them. I think you're supposed to flip them left to right and not right to left. Also, in some traditional forms, you do whatever the hell you want, people. But like, whatever, like there's some. So it was just interesting. And so I really like that idea and concept around that, and like really asking yourself, and like, because I laugh sometimes because I'm like, I don't know how my higher self's talking to me. Like, I don't know what the fuck I expect, like some grand production. I don't know. I'm probably. And so I was like, duh, they're talking to me through dreams, through songs, through feeling, through my cards, through pendulum. What? Yeah, there's a million. And then I love automatic writing, because that's something that's come up for me recently too, is a way that if you're like, I don't know, like the automatic writing. But I love the responding with the left hand. I didn't think about that. So that was really cool.
It does have to be yes or no, of course. But, it really is powerful. And I have never really been, you're never guided in the wrong way, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't get the exact response you want, but you're always guided in the direction that's best for you. So,
Yeah, no, I think that's, yeah, totally. And I love that. And then on the concept of the codes, what's really interesting is I've done a lot of meditations and around like money and the frequency of money. But when I envision money frequency coming into my body, I imagine it as zeros and ones in a green digital form.
Yeah.
Starting from my crown all the way down to my toes and out into earth. And so like, it's really interesting. That's how
you're
I've
already
always
using
it.
Software.
Well, I think that way. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I was on to something. But then on another version of codes, I have never seen these before, because there's a whole book about it, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to butcher it, but they're like Jabardi codes or Jabardi,
I've
something.
Heard of these. Yeah.
Yes. And they're the codes that are apparent. Yeah, to tap into the universe of, you can tap into the frequency of the universe and kind of like use these codes to get something out or like whatever. But the codes are used by the CIA, supposedly. Now, I'm not out here to tell you that they are or not, but, believe what you will. And it's really interesting because I've come across them a couple times, and one day I just was like fucking around because I'll try anything. I'm not against the world. And I wrote it on my arm. And that day I wrote like unexpected something. I don't even know. It was like, because there's a million different, or not a million, but there's a lot of different codes.
Are
like
they numbers?
For weight loss.
Numerical?
They're numbers. Okay. Like actual number codes.
Yeah,
like
I've
number,
heard of this
like
before.
Yeah. And there's like, if you want a new job, or if you're financial stability, like not just quick wins, there's one for weight loss, there's one for addiction, there's one for whatever, and you're supposed to write them on your body. And so I actually did write it on my left arm. And that day, that same day I got a refund check. I was like, that I didn't even expect that I was getting. And so again, there could be other things at play, but I wrote the codes that day on my arm.
Oh,
and it
so cool.
showed up. So it's very interesting, like because I know what you're saying by like your DNA and your programming and the codes that way, but it just made me think about these actual numerical codes and
I love
the way that you could use them. And I think about it like everything's intentional, and or what you put the intention behind it, right, is what I mean. And so what's interesting is I love comments. I've said this a million times. And I read comments on like what people are doing and how they're utilizing these things. I like to see what people like, Tress and I are thought leaders, right? But if people were having a thread of comments on our video, I would actually rather read the comments because I want to know how people are utilizing it or if they did it or if they have other ideas. And when you write the numbers, you're supposed to leave spaces in between it, certain numbers, and imagine light, like a light code, like a light source going through the numbers, like you're activating it. And so, I don't know, I was thinking about it when you mentioned the word codes. So there could be something to it too, like
100%.
Part of that software, part of the reprogramming, we talk about like we are in a version of assimilation, right? Like this is you. And I love what you said that like your codes you can rewire your codes. You can change your codes. You can change the way that you're operating. And like, it's totally true. And I think it'll be interesting. I challenge, I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to ask, because I don't think I've ever, like, it's funny because I feel like there's a lot of just doing, like, oh, I need to work on this, or oh, I need to do this, or I need to release this. But I don't know if I've ever asked myself, do I actually need to release this? Or like,
is it serving me?
Yeah. Like, I don't know, or is this actually something I need to work on or healed, or has this whatever, like I don't think I've ever asked, so that sounds really silly. It's just doing, and I had never thought about it that way. So even though it's simple.
I think so many things have come lately to me, and he talked about this exact thing too in this episode that I listened to, just about the idea of, you called it a simulate, that we're living in a matrix, right? You think about that. And so I think about these codes, like your matrix codes, love doesn't come easy. I'm not worthy. We just talked about it on the previous episode. I got to work hard for money. To me, those are matrix codes. When you tune into source, right? When you understand you're part of source, those codes switch. They are like, I'm absolutely worthy of love. I can give unconditional love to myself and others. I am fully taken care of and supported. But it's deeper than the words. This is why, I do use affirmations from time to time, but you can't keep saying something that your software program doesn't support.
Totally.
It doesn't shift. You've got to work on the internal stuff. And if you start to truly believe in your power, because you were created from this source that I can't even understand it myself. When I feel it, sometimes it feels so vast and powerful just in my little body, what I can feel, then that's where you start to change. And I think if you hear your programming and what is that dialogue, where it's coming from. Is it truly just coming from the simulation, the matrix, which keeps us in control and keeps us tone deaf and keeps us suppressed? Or is it coming from source, which is where the power is, which is where transformation happens, So that's another thing. And you could even muscle test on that. Like, is this, is this from source? Is this from my I am energy? Is this from my power? Or is this from a program, a matrix, a simulation, So I thought that was an interesting concept, but so much that I've heard in the last week, it just continues to bring up the matrix and breaking down that simulation that we've all been living in or programmed to live in.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a lot of energy right now where I've even heard there's like a research lab that's shut down right now for maintenance for the next several years. And people, I don't know if you've seen this, but people believe that this potential lab, because of the research they do around energy, like they've manipulated our timelines, wormholes, all of the above, right? And people are saying collectively that I've seen, and I even had my brother who isn't into the same. He lives on the more conspiracy side of life, And a lot of those things blend into the metaphysical and like what's kind of happening in both communities. But he's like, hey, he's like, this is down, they're saying this, if you want to manifest anything right now, there's this window because you can jump time, like you can quantum leap, you can shift timelines, you can shift your timeline right now because this facility is down for maintenance. And so, so there's a lot. I'll send it to you. I'm not saying it out loud in case they come for me, but I will send you the info.
Yeah, I love that.
But yeah, it's really interesting. And so I've like really been trying to tune into like, okay, we're here at this time. I know, like it's been said to me several times, the energy in July will be very rapid and shifting. And so like this has all kind of like happened in, like I said, block. And so I've been really trying to tune into the, like, what does the frequency feel like right now? Like, what is there something different? Do I feel different? And so, I mentioned in the last episode from the one before this where, look, see, like, even if, or maybe I didn't mention it. I think I might have just said it to Tressa actually in between the call. I'm taking steps in my life that even if the outcome isn't defined with something like, we're so programmed to think success or a win or the good outcome is like getting said, okay, whatever, balloons, getting said job or getting said opportunity, or there has to be like some kind of something, you know what I mean, tied to it. And what I said to Tressa is like, right now in my life, I was just very honest with this conversation I had with a potential client for myself. I've never done this before. Like, it's where I'm being very honest. Like, even if nothing comes from this, something came from it because I've now shifted my timeline. When you disrupt patterns, which is exactly what this person's probably also talking about, you're disrupting the old patterns. You're stepping in. When you step out of your normal routine, like I've never done that shit before and I did it. Was it perfect? No. But like, did I step through with it? Sure. I'm doing things that are totally outside of my normal thinking, that are outside of what I've been programmed to believe, that are outside of beliefs I had even 6 months ago. Like, this is how you do the reprogramming also. Like, this is those actions you take with it, and I'm like, even if nothing comes from, like, whatever, I've had the conversation. I stepped out of the timeline. I made the first step, just even drafting a proposal. I've never drafted a proposal for myself before. Just taking the steps, or like the podcast, what we're doing right now, taking the step for the visibility, taking the step to put out our word publicly, taking the step to have a visitor that is not physical. I just want people to know that right now. And I
think we always have those, Myra.
Yeah, no. Well, they're
but
like,
you can feel it.
I know they're Is it you? Are you jingling bells?
No.
Okay, no. I'm jingling bells, and the bells are sitting beside me, not jingling. Yeah. So anyways, but yes, so we just stepping outside of, so I love what you're saying. Tune into the body, listen to the body. What is the body saying? What is your higher self saying? Or your guides, whatever you're tuning into, what are they saying that you need to reprogram the codes, but then take the actionable steps. That's just what I'm getting at here. Like, then you got to put them into, someone told me a long time ago, like, you can manifest all day or be up here all day, but how do you ground them into reality, like into your existence? And so,
well, and it takes action, right? And growth comes from doing things that you haven't done. It can feel uncomfortable, right? Because it's not your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for people more than ever, if they're going to survive, if they want to survive these energy changes right now, they have to tune into themselves. They have to trust themselves. They have to live their authenticity, and we've talked about this more and more. And I think you will see it even more rapidly. Like, if they're not in their authenticity, the truth will be exposed. There's no more hiding, I guess. Like, that's just not going to be possible for companies, for individuals. Everything is full exposure right now. So when you're authentic, you have nothing to hide, right? Yeah. I believe that when you're living your authentic self and your authentic self, there is no hiding anymore. You are, you are putting yourself out there, just like what you're talking about with what you did with a proposal, right? And it really, when you do that, you're so powerful. Everything will fall into flow, right? When you get out of that, the cage, the fear, all of those
totally.
things. Yeah. So anyway, I think, I'd love to hear comments after this episode of what you muscle tested, what you found about yourselves, Myra's friend is chilling around her. Who do you think it is?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. But like, I have bells on my door, as you now all know, folks. And they're sitting right here.
Yeah, because she showed me in between our episodes.
They're literally right here. And I can hear and my dogs are laying down. They don't have bells. My jewelry's it's not me. Yeah. So anyways, I don't know. But every time I do this podcast, there is I don't know if I'm just open and welcoming in this. Maybe I need to do some form of I don't know. Maybe I need to close myself more.
No, I think they're there to help us. I don't think it's bad. It's funny that, I feel the same way. It's hot here today. I'm in a tank top and shorts, and I'm been cold the whole time because, spirit is helping us and they vibrate high, and so it's usually chilly. I'm like, man, I'm chilly.
Yeah.
I think it's just a good sign.
Yeah, I think it is too. So maybe I need to tune into the ring. I don't know. The bells, maybe they're symbolizing.
Well, it might be, and it's a vibration, right?
Yeah.
That's why people do, I think about my sound therapy. There's a different vibration to everything.
Yeah.
That helps with raising our frequency or releasing certain things. So that's what I think.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time, keep your vibrations way high.
And stay sassy.